Welcome to the Athenaeum vlog number 19. So 19th session of gaming and vlogging.
Yeah. After today, we only have three sessions left.
God.
Three sessions left. It's going down to the end.
Insane. That's so good. So Sam, what did you think? How did it go for you?
I thought it was really good. A big aspect of me wanted to have, getting back to Sam's world, kind of back to his roots. He's more of like an observer and getting everybody else up on the witness stand and talking and everything was kind of what the goal was. So that I think twofold. One, to allow everybody an opportunity to, interact with the both lawyer teams, but then also for him, for Sam to just kind of observe how he's affected or what kind of things he needs to do to have the effects that he wants with some of the other characters. So I thought it was really good, but I thought the ending of it was definitely kind of, I didn't know what to expect, of course, because it's all at random, but I thought it actually worked out really good.
Pretty good.
I thought it was hilarious.
Especially going into Tori's world, because it really made me think of the Blob.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What a setup.
It was perfect.
Almost foreshadowed it that
Yeah.
there would be a blob. Yeah. One thing I wanted to mention is that going into this session, I actually had no clue yet. You all were just as oblivious as I was as to who Erin really was and what her relationship was with Sam. So I had to message Joe because I knew you all were going to go visit her in the diner, and I had zero context. So I was like, Joe, I need to know like who is Erin to you, because I really have no clue how to roleplay this. And so he just gave me like a few notes, and I had to like make things up on the spot.
That was good.
Yeah.
And even the same thing with
Haskell
too, with like
Yeah.
the stuff that happened to him in the war, like how he saved his life back then. That too was not I on the spot had to come up with something, and I didn't feel bad, but like Joe and we never had a chance to discuss any of this, and so I was sort of just, because I was making it up as I go, I was kind of hoping Joe was okay with the things I was making up. Like the whole mind thing.
It worked out really good. So initially we had talked about prior to going back to Sam's world, Sam getting toasted and kind of like spilling all. Because I didn't do a whole lot of deep dive into the other characters from Sam's world. I'm like really fleshing out. I had like tidbits, but that was really it. But I was going to, just create a lot of it with interaction in the tell-all kind of piece before we went back. But I forgot all about it. So we didn't get hammered prior to going back. But no, I thought it worked great. I thought it worked really good.
Yeah, I think the thing I was most pleasantly surprised is how very easily we were able to formulate Erin's like personality, because I only really got to roleplay as her a handful of times, and even then it was still very vague as to like, because I didn't know the history of her and Sam, it was hard for me to just carve out what she really is like as a person. And so I'm glad that Sam mentioned. Well, Joe, do you want to share what you told me like in the chats?
Oh yeah. So I put down here, let me pull it up here. For Erin, is a high school sweetheart that never were more. So Sam left for the military, then the academy, and then a PI. After seeing bribes at the graduation of the academy, that was really like the one thing that I had like really fine-tuned, but that was it. But after that, he didn't pursue a relationship because he doesn't have that stable job and everything to be a classic ward beaver, which is important at that time. So yeah, he just left things all unsaid, which is very characteristic for that type of person.
And because he told me all those things, I was just trying to get into Aaron's headspace, and I'm like, okay, it feels to me like in order for them to become a couple in high school, it felt like she had to make the first move, because I did not see Sam doing that. And so I had to make her a little bit more of a... I guess when I started out, I expected her to be a little bit more passive. But now when I was getting a full understanding of their backstory, I was like, okay, no, Erin I can see is this. Like, she's a very strong, opinionated woman. And I think that she has helped Sam through all of this. And they've had this history because, you know, she liked him. And she wasn't sure if he liked her back because he just, again, is so distracted by all these other things that I think in his mind were more important. And they probably were more important in that time for him. And so, yeah, that was sort of like how I formulated the whole thing. And then I think it was pretty obvious, like the little story about the shoebox and like all the little trinkets. I was like, well, I need to insert something that sort of explains Sam's behavior now in some way. And I'm like, if I could do that in a way that sort of shows that somebody else had affected him to behave in this certain way, I was like, okay, Aaron's probably the one. And so that's sort of like where that came from.
No, that was really good, Hart. Like you're really good with like on the spot.
Yeah, that's really improv. Yeah.
Even doing this for so long, I was like surprised at myself. Like, wow, Hart, like you didn't do badly with that one, because I was so afraid that Aaron was not going to be that interesting of a character, and I was like, I need to come up with some really good material. And then as soon as I started the story about the shoebox, I was like, oh, this is good. I like this. Yeah. And just looking at everybody's really reactions, good. I think I was looking at Thistle when I mentioned the trinkets, and I saw like Thistle's like eyebrow raise, and I'm like, yes, I did something good. So.
Yeah. Brody.
Good. Yeah, I think it's lunchtime, Brody. Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah, Micah did great with the court case.
So
yes.
It's not easy. It's not easy to be a lawyer. There's a reason why people study for years and pass tests and study cases, and it's not easy to ask the right questions and how to formulate a case. So this was good to do it in such a short amount of time.
For those of you who knew about the Dragon Age campaign, the season 3 campaign, we had a lawyer. Tommy played Russo, who was a lawyer, and I was hoping for a courtroom scene similar to this, because I think, if I'm being like honest, I felt like this case worked out better than how we did it in the Dragon Age one. And I think part of the reason was it was easier to do a case like this where there really isn't that much of a question. Like, Sam is guilty, so it's just a matter of appealing to the jury about his character and that this was a necessity for him to do, versus most traditional like court cases where both are like, the defendant is saying that they are innocent and the plaintiff, of course, is saying they're guilty, and so that's a little bit more complicated. So I think the fact that it was easier helped a lot.
Yeah, because we knew what the verdict was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Regardless, Sam, if he would have gotten anything other than guilty, he wouldn't have felt. It would have been another thing that the system's broken. It's absolutely broken. Yeah. You can't trust the system. So he needed to hear guilty.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, Sam. Mm-hmm. So complicated.
Yeah, but I'm so happy that I felt like we finally got a very satisfying answer to who he was, because I felt like it would have been really, I felt like the viewers would have wanted this. They would have wanted to know more about him because he's just so private, and I think this is the perfect way to reveal things that he himself would not volunteer.
Well, and I still think there's some opportunity, like after Tori's world. So the whole Carmen aspect, that's going to be challenging. So after that, Sam definitely is going to need a drink. So there's going to be aspects where, the whole tell-all piece, like, can even expand beyond what I initially thought. So I'm looking forward to that before we jump into, Frankie's for sure, but possibly even Star's world.
Yeah. Today was a huge Sam Shipfest, a huge Sam Shipfest, and I of course love the relationship story that he has with Aaron, and even though the Carmen and Sam thing has some awkwardness in it, I also can't help but feel like it's cute too, in a way. If you look at it in a certain direction, it is kind of cute. So
I just, as always, with weirdly enough things involving Sam/Sam's world. Poor Tori.
Oh,
It's all good. It's all good.
Weird adoptive father/potential brother-in-law.
it's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Traumatized for life.
even though it definitely complicated things, I'm so happy that Emily decided to possess the prosecutor. I was waiting for you to use the possession ability.
I know. I was waiting for the right
person.
time, like when things were looking bad, and when Frankie was kind of struggling, I was like, okay, this is the time.
This was a good one. Yeah. Even though like it may have hurt the situation, I think from a story perspective, I think it was way more interesting that you did that.
That's exactly what Tori would do. This is exactly what she would do. Jump right on in.
Yeah, it was amazing. I was so happy you did that.
Yeah, I couldn't, like Alex was saying earlier, like being a lawyer is super hard. So when I was suddenly a lawyer, I'm like, I don't know what to say.
But that's what Tori would do. She's like, Tori doesn't know anything about the law, so she's like,
what do I ask? What's your favorite color?
You go to the library.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go to Harvard.
Yeah,
no
exactly.
Hilarious.
Speaking of Frankie, I just love the contrast between Frankie and Sam's world and being part of the Sunshine Twins.
Yes, so different.
Sam's world is so nervous
different.
and then confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex,
Yeah,
I love you.
in Sam's world, to try to channel the stereotype of the slut, it's all about confidence. It's all about confidence in your body and what you're doing and how everything is just sexy and erotic and amazing. Like it's the right place, the right time. This outfit, everything, the food I'm eating, everything is perfect.
Yeah. The question then I have for Frankie is, before he jumped into Tori's world again, did he feel any anxiety going back to that?
No.
He didn't feel any anxiety? Okay.
I don't think so at all. Yeah. I think what he's learning is that that's an aspect of him, kind of. Even though it was forced on him, it like triggered a little bit of that kind of naughty Frankie that you saw in Sue's world when he was on the Grindr.
That's true.
Yeah, so there's a little side of him that's starting to, kind of play in the dark side.
I also think with Frankie too, now that he's been exposed to it, in multiple worlds, getting back into Sue's, I have to think that he's also like, to me, he's always been that kind of curious personality of who am I? Where do I belong? What do I fit in? What am I? I think there's still exploration there. So he's kind of owning it now to let's see what the limits are. So I definitely agree with that.
Like it makes me really excited to see him reunite with Victor, because now Frankie's so different than when we left his world, because that was the first world we went into after Gourmet City, and Frankie's a completely different person essentially now, and I'm wondering how that's going to interact with Victor, because he's just
not just with Victor too, with Henry too.
Henry,
he has all of those memories.
All of them.
So excited to see that.
Yeah, I'm really curious about that, because of all the characters. Like, remember, we started with Frankie's world, and now we're ending with Frankie's world. So he's been away from his home the longest from anyone else, and been away from Victor the longest. And so, I mean, if his story, if you all never were involved, there's no question in my mind, I think, that Frankie and Victor are going to be like the end game. And not to say that they may not be now, but there's a lot of factors now that have fallen into play, and who knows what's going to happen between him and Victor when he comes back. I'm really curious, because there seems like there's some options. Henry definitely is a big one, of course. So, and the way that they're going to interact right now is going to be really interesting, especially when you throw in the whole Tori stuff too.
Yeah.
Because Tori's got that Felix and Henry thing as well. And it's like, how is that going to play out? I don't know. So.
Yeah, things got complicated for Frankie.
Yeah.
By meeting all of you.
Yeah. Because I think I remember from a prior vlog that Alex said that it had crossed his mind that maybe there could be something going on eventually between Henry and Frankie. And I was like, I can see that. At the time I was like, yeah, I can see that. But now I'm like, oh, I really can see that now. So
interesting. I love Regina stepping up and playing a little bit of the slut.
I'm so glad Regina did that.
Frankie was so
great.
So good.
To the story. Such a great add to the story. I don't know if Thistle enjoyed it, but we enjoyed it.
Mind you, like I feel like I had a little. It's weird because that was Celeste.
Yeah, that was Celeste.
Like Celeste was the I'm going to flirt my way through everything because she knew she was hot.
Yeah. Good for her too.
The thing is, Reginald doesn't really see himself as like a romancy kind of guy or a flirt. Really, he's a smooth talker, but not flirty. But at the same time, like. He can put on any kind of act.
Exactly.
That's why I think with Sam calling out what a con, I was Sam definitely would be thinking, think of this as a challenge for you to fast talk.
I mean, admittedly, the one reason Black Powder actually like agreed to do it was because like I can get close enough to hurt this boy if I need to.
I was thinking that too.
So great. Which was so great.
Which you
all
did.
I know is because he was like, this guy hurt Tori. One way or another, I'm gonna hurt him.
That's why Frankie pushed him
seeing that at the end.
Yeah, the one scene was so perfect.
Yeah, it was so good. Yeah, that's what Frankie pushed him at the end. He was like, I'm over this show. Boom, get away. Yeah. Come over it. I'm taking your drone.
Yeah, I'm glad that when I had decided like earlier yesterday or the day before that I was probably going to do a Ghostbusters thing because I wanted the Tori stuff to be fun. And I was thinking, what's all the fun stuff? Oh, well, you've got Stranger Things, you've got Scooby-Doo. I'm like, oh, Ghostbusters. Like, I know we did the Marshmallow Man like knockoff last time, but like that doesn't mean we can't still revisit that a little bit. And and I was like, how am I going to introduce this? And I thought, well, I haven't really done anything with Pio's character, and I kind of want to do something. And so I figured, okay, well, maybe I could connect him to this somehow. But it worked out way better than I thought it would.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
No, it was great. I loved it.
Like touching back on Carmen and Sam.
Oh yeah.
A little bit like just seeing Sam get flustered, especially after being so cool in court, and now he's just like
Right.
It's so funny.
There was just something that I felt like if Carmen was gonna find somebody endearing in the group or find attracted in the group, I was like, it's gotta be the nerd. I kind of see Carmen going after the nerd. Like, yeah, she could have fallen for Frankie, but I feel like she sees Frankie as more like a
hey girl, hey.
Hey girl, hey. Yeah. Basically, hey girl, hey.
It was perfect. It was just exactly
the new horror trope of the gay best friend.
Yeah,
I was so hoping that Carmen would get to interact with the party, so I was really excited to see that.
She didn't.
Yeah,
and it worked out great because she ended up almost being BFFs, almost instant BFFs with Regina because of the interactions. I thought she would go on swimmingly with Star and
There
Frankie.
is a funny thing about that because I actually thought about this since the last time we were in Tori's world, and I think Jock version of BP maybe also had a little crush on Sam. So there's a reason why she brought up like, oh, he dived into save me. It's like he didn't succeed, but he tried.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, like there's maybe a little bit of jealousy there, but it's like strictly this world version of him. Sam, because they're both younger.
Yeah,
right. That's true.
It's another trope of like the jock getting together with the nerd.
With the nerd. That is. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is so much funnier than last time.
Oh my gosh.
That was the intention.
Hilarious.
What a different feeling overall.
Yeah. I wanted Tori's tone to be way different. from last time.
Because this is what I initially thought Tori's world was going to be, was this.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we're kind of wrapping it up this way.
I think now that I had already embraced the horror of horror, I was like, now I can do something fun. Because if I reintroduce horror here again, it's just going to be the same thing. Like, no, that's
change it.
It'll be a missed opportunity. Just change things up. It's like there's so many other things with horror that you can do, and I'm like, yeah, Ghostbusters, Stranger Things, let's do it.
The moment Frankie was the slut again, I was like, oh, this feels so laughable.
Yeah,
Sunshine Twins 3.0.
Oh my gosh, yeah, this is so much fun. Yeah, Tori's world is a lot of fun.
I want to recommend that you and Micah get tattoos that each say I'm one half of the Sunshine
Twins. Even if it's a temporary tattoo.
Yeah.
That'd be so cute.
Or a t-shirt or something.
Yeah.
Because it's true, there is that level of comedy in some horror movies. When you think of like the original Scream, there was that kind of tongue-in-cheek making fun of horror movies, like I'll be right back and blah blah blah. Like everyone thought it was funny, but in the end it really does get you killed.
That's exactly what Cabin in the Woods is.
Right.
Makes fun of every trope.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it'll be fun with your Phantom Smasher equipment in the manor, because it's going to be way different from when Tori originally was in the manor and was totally unarmed. Now you got some friends.
We need like the theme song going on in the background.
There you go. That'd be amazing.
Who you gonna call?
Yeah. Cool.
I love how Sam talked us into wearing those jumpsuits.
Yes.
Because Frankie did not want to wear it.
I don't know. I think it's a cooler image.
It's
having
gotta
you all
be,
in your jumpsuits, all of you in
But
there.
it definitely played into, I think, a couple of the characters not wanting to wear the jumper suits. So it was like, yeah, that's so perfect, but we got to do it. We got to do it.
Sam has to be the one to convince us.
Yeah. And I cannot wait to see the altercations to it. The alterations that
alterations,
Herman and Star are gonna do, because it's gonna get again stereotypical with like the girls in these skin tight things.
Yeah.
So Frankie too. Frankie's gonna have that. Those pants are gonna be tight.
Yeah.
I just wearing a normal jumpsuit, Sam.
Cinched up.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like at minimum, like Frankie's got to have like the midriff, got to have the
collar. Like has it always unzipped?
Unzipped,
bare chest.
No, that jumpsuit's gonna be ready to be like ripped off, like Chippendales,
breakaway pants,
Thunder Down Under, baby.
Thunder Down Under.
That's Frankie.
It's amazing.
Star's gonna find some way to make his sparkle.
It's amazing.
Carmen's is probably gonna get cutesy in some way.
Yeah, very cutesy, I'm sure.
Pam's is gonna just be the basic thing.
Yeah.
Extra
very
padding.
Classic. Sam's is gonna be the classic Ghostbuster.
Elbow pads.
There you go.
Pens, pencils.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Goggles on over his glasses.
Yep.
Does this mean that Tori is their Slimer then? Tori is
their
ghost mascot.
I mean, she's our ghost. She's our ghost.
That should be the mascot.
It should just be Tori.
Tori,
like Tori with the no sign. That's amazing.
That'd be great.
Oh man, that's gonna be so funny. I love it.
Well, if Sam ever loses his license, he can come to this world and get a job as a Phantom Smasher.
Yep.
Like as the nerd. I mean, this is like you can make a lot of income with that. Like so many strange things seem to be happening in Tori's world. So there you go.
In your Tori mug.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, show that to the camera.
Yeah, this is a gift from Roma.
Let me pin you so I can see it. Oh my goodness, look at that.
It has all of the Tori portraits. Sorry, I'm like trying to rotate.
That is so amazing.
Oh, that's so cool.
Wow.
Big thank you to Roma.
So many forms of Tori.
And to Micah for giving her all of these portraits.
Anytime.